So now you talk about the Coast Guard Auxiliary. You're in charge. You're in charge. This is the first group of jumps. This is okay. And this is how do you get? I mean, I know why you're probably the leader of this thing, but how did you get wrapped up with these guys?
This year I was elected to be flotilla commander for the Seward flotilla for the Coast Guard Auxiliary. The first group to jump historically is what is now referred to as Sector Anchorage, and that's active duty Coast Guard. The second group to jump is the crew from the cutter Mustang. And several years ago, the Mustang was on patrol and didn't make it back in time to jump. So there was no Seward presence, as it were, for active duty Coast Guard. And the Coast Guard Auxiliary at that time decided if the cutter wasn't here, we would jump for them. And if the cutter is here, we will jump with them. And we do have 4 members from the Coast Guard Auxiliary who will be jumping with the crew of the cutter Mustang this year.
Cool. Now, every year, this is the 23rd annual polar bear plunge here in Seward. And if you're just tuning in, it's a beautiful morning in Resurrection Bay. We're, 123 miles from Anchorage, something like that. So if you're listening in and you want to do a really cool event, come on down, just drive on down to Seward. It's only a couple hours or so. It's a beautiful day, beautiful drive. And come down for the parade, which starts at 11:30. And this is where all the registrants who are all dressed up in outfits and have worked hard to raise money for the American Cancer Society. They're all registering, and then they're going to do a parade. And it's I kid John and say it's sort of like the March of the Virgins and the Aztecs right before they go to slaughter, kind of thing. But and then they parade around the town, and then they'll all show up at the pier here, and the jump is at 12:30, and it's a good hour and a half of fun. And Sue has more information because she knows what she's talking about.
The parade will start at the American Legion and walk down 4th Avenue to the harbor, and it does take about 20 minutes to do the parade. But for folks who aren't coming, if they go to the Major Marine Tours website, www.majormarine.com, and click on their webcam, Major Marine does fix their camera on the jumpers, so you can watch the jump. It's the picture refreshes every minute. It's not a streaming video kind of thing, but people can watch. And we have people from all over the world who actually sign in just to watch the jump.
Well, I'll tell you what, we first of all, now one of the things that we're going to be having Sue Lang, we're talking with, this is Bearded John's mom. Ha ha, John's a mama's boy. Anyway, Sue Lang is really knows the tourism industry down here in the Kenai Peninsula. A very enterprising. In fact, if you get to know Sue Lang's story, it's quite a story of an enterprising woman in Alaska. And one of the things we'll have Sue back on a number of times throughout the year, because first of all, because Sue knows so much about what's going on down the Kenai Peninsula, which bodes well for you, our listeners. But also the other real reason we're doing it is because otherwise John will probably start crying.
I will not!
Anyway, so we've got coming up, by the way, we've got Laura from the Seward Chamber of Commerce here, and the reason she's here is because everybody else was afraid. Everybody was afraid to come down here, John, and because they saw us scrambling with our equipment. But anyway, Sue Lang, first of all, we'll see you out on the dock, because Senior Henry Huizinga, Mr. Excitement himself, will be co-emceeing with me down there, and so we're going to be hollering and looking forward to seeing you more. So now, you'll be taking pictures. Now, is there any advice you want to give to your son before he jumps?
Well, in all the times that John has jumped, he really hasn't jumped. He just kind of falls into the water. And he takes a great deal of pride in the fact.
It's a really big splash, though.
Yes, he does. We have some, I've taken some pictures, and his wife's taken some awesome pictures of Jonathan falling in the water.
Yes, of Jonathan, yes.
I'm not in trouble. She didn't use my middle name.
There we go. And we've got, John's, and be looking for John's new book coming out called Cannonball to Health. So anyway, Sue Lang. By the way, John, my good buddy, you're representing your group is representing, you're the Hog Group, right?
We are officially the Cancer Fighters Trike Club. club. The first year we jumped, we had one trike, so it's a motorcycle with 3 wheels. The second year we jumped, we had, I think, the same trike. And then after that, we just kept adding trikes. So we've got 3 trikes at least for the parade today. So that's where the Cancer Fighters Trike Club.
So, and by the way, John, there's I have to remember that I want to inform you, John, that Vicki Portwood from the Anchorage Home Builders Association called me last night to let you know that she went to your website and pledged money to your jump. Now, how much money do you guys do you know how much money the Hogs have raised approximately?
Our team, together with the 5 of us, we've raised right about $10,000 this year. Just a little bit less than $10,000, but we're close to that. And we weren't actually able to log into the website this morning to double check, but I did see yesterday afternoon that Vicki had donated, and I'd like to thank Vicki, and I'd like to thank everybody that donated to all of us, because this is a great event. It is a fundraiser for the American Cancer Society, and that's why I keep doing it, is because it's a disease that we need to work on eradicating, and American Cancer Society is working towards that.
You know, just so you know, Bearded John has a personal story with in fighting cancer. The reason he has it the same with Henry Huizinga, who's co-emceeing here and with us on the show today, as well as myself and many other people. John, who are you jumping for?
Well, I'm jumping for my family. My wife is a breast cancer survivor. We got involved with the polar bear plunge prior to her diagnosis. And then she was diagnosed with breast cancer actually after we'd already committed to do it. We hadn't even jumped yet. And then so I jumped for Jamie, and then I jumped for my 2 girls, Madeline and Genevieve, because I don't want them to have to go through what Jamie went through.
Well, I'll tell you, it's always a pleasure to be every Saturday morning. John, I get to check in and see what's happening and get to travel and stuff like this. And one of the things, we're all united here. It's not a American Cancer Society says that cancer never sleeps, and neither do they. And, you know, it's not about people from Seward or the Valley or from Anchorage. We're Alaskans, and we've all joined here for standing up and supporting those who are fighting cancer, those who are caretaking those loved ones, and for those who've passed before, and more importantly, the hope that this money raises for research and all the different organizations associated with American Cancer Society. If you're listening in, it's the Big Alaska Show here on AM 750 KFQD with Bearded John Lang. I'm Uncle Steve, and of course joining us is a cast of thousands, and we had all this great high-tech equipment, and we got it all hooked up and wouldn't plug in. So we're on the telephone here at the Breeze Inn in a little closet, and people ask me if I'm rooming with Bearded John, and I said this is about as, I mean, you know, getting cheek to cheek with you is really disturbing, isn't it? One of our guests we have joining us, Laura Cloward. She's with the Chamber of Commerce here in Seward, and so what is this event? First of all, welcome to the Big Alaska Show, and just think of it this way: that after you get through with our show, everything's uphill from. I mean, it's all going up from here. This is you know. Or, of course, this may be as good as it gets. So, anyway, what is welcome to the show, and what does this event mean to Seward?
Thanks, Steve. It's great to be here, although John's mom is a hard act to follow. This event, among other winter events, are really important and boost the economy. Beyond what you've been talking about in terms of the support for the American Cancer Society and just the goodwill, whenever you're in a small town, any time that you can have an event and bring people in and boost the economy and give retail shops a boost and restaurants a little more business, from a chamber perspective, that's very critical.